Hello everyone. Welcome to a doubt session on sociology as science. The topic for today will be positivism. Usually it is observed that when you have a target to complete, then you rush through it without taking care whether you have understood the topic or not. This is happening with TFTs too. So we will be having more such doubt sessions. Today's doubt clarification session is on positivism. Positivism deals with causality or causal analysis of events, cause and effect. What do you understand by cause? Cause means the reason why something is happening. And science, the major component of science is a why. We want to know why something happens or will happen in future. For example, we remember the apple that fell down from the tree, isn't it? There the effect was the apple falling. Apple fell down was the effect, the result, the end. But what was the cause? The cause was gravity. This was the reason why the apple fell down. So there was a causal effect, a causal relationship between the apple and the force of gravity. Similarly, in physical sciences, every event which can be observed has an explanation. Be it a spaceship flying past the Earth's atmosphere or a bullet traveling on a projectile motion when fired from a gun, there is also an explanation for the working of a human circulatory system. We have laws of thermodynamics, mechanics, we know about centrifugal and centripetal forces, so we have explanation in physics, chemistry, biology. We have explanation for every event that is occurring in their spheres. But how do we know about these scientific facts? Where or how or when did they evolve? Where did the sciences start? Where was the starting point? They started from an observation, then they assumed a hypothesis, then they carried out experiments, collected facts, and then they concluded and finally came to a law or a theory. Okay? So this is what we mean by a scientific method, and positivism was a big proponent of the scientific method. In science, we have a certain scope whenever we study any sciences, whether it is physics, chemistry or biology. We have a certain scope or subject matter. Now this scope consists of dynamics as well as the static part. Dynamic will include, for example, mechanics. Okay? So when we think of society, when we try to apply positivism to society, we think of change, and when we think of applying static portion to society, we think of stability. Similarly, we have concepts of equilibrium, system, and when we try to apply it to sociology, then we have a concept known as social system. Now, someone was asking yesterday, what was this scientific method that we keep talking about? What is empiricism? What is scientific method? And how is it related to sociology? All these things. So, in science, they go for a cause-effect analysis and using the method of, let's say, deductive approach. That means what? They start from a theory or any observation, and then they collect data to confirm it. Okay, so this is known as deducing. You deduce two facts, two data. The positivists, or the logical positivists as they are known as, they follow a deductive approach. And why did they follow this, or why did they want to follow this? They were influenced by the ideas of rationality, reason. These were born during Enlightenment. And the positivists, they wanted to apply the deductive approach to the study of social phenomenon. To society or social phenomena. So when we say that the positivists, they wanted to apply the scientific method, we are talking about deductive approach. This is the approach that you will have to remember. Why were they interested in this deductive approach? Because they wanted that sociology should not only consist of a theory like the other social sciences, but it should also have a backing, a research to confirm, to test if someone else wanted to study sociology. This was the reason they wanted to adopt scientific methods. This was the very important reason or main cause for opting for scientific method, because we wanted to go for research. We wanted to have practical experience. We wanted to be able to test, not only have theory but also practical aspect of the discipline. So what they did, they thought that sociological methodology will consist of logical as well as theoretical part. Okay, now what will this theoretical part be? It will have the sociological theories or sociological perspectives, for example the functionalist perspective, the conflict perspective, but the logical part will include the deductive method. This was the crux of their proposal. So for example, they took any social phenomena, or they wanted to study either social order or social conflict or struggle. Then they would test. How they will test it? By using certain methods. Okay, these methods will be used by only the positivists, and these methods will be similar to scientific methods. What will these methods be? These methods which the positivists will use will be known as the quantitative methods. They will be either the usage of statistics or comparative methods or surveys or structured interviews, not unstructured, close-ended questionnaires, not open-ended questionnaires, sampling. These methods will be used by the positivists, thus establishing sociology as a science. Now there is another term which is quite common whenever we study positivists. It is facts. We keep telling that positivists say that it should be empirical, it should be observable, it should include facts. What does this mean? Facts is anything which can be observed through senses, through our senses. And another thing is that they will remain the same for all the observer. Even if I see it, even if you see it, both of us, we will see that apple falling, right? And in every situation, whether it is winter or summer or morning or evening, or in America, in India, in every situation, whether it is in a storm or it is a cloudy night, every situation by every observer, that apple is going to fall down. That is what we mean when we say it is a fact. We cannot change it, unchangeable. So what do we mean when we say that society can be studied in the form of facts? What do we mean? We have a concept known as social facts, which was given by Durkheim. Durkheim, as you know, he was studying social order or social stability. So while studying social order, he thought that there was some force which was uniting the society, or some kind of solidarity. Okay, there was some kind of solidarity, unity, but still suicides were happening. So if there was so much of unity, so much of love, so much of compassion, then why were suicides happening? There must be something, there must be a reason. Thus, it was a kind of observation, right? Or you can say he chose this phenomena which was quite recurrent in society, despite society being a stable society, despite being a social order, and despite having a collective conscience, solidarity, suicides were happening. So he took it as an object of study. He said, let me find out why it is happening. So he found out, first of all, what he did, he assumed that there was some kind of force which was acting, external force, just like that gravitational force. He assumed there was some kind of societal force which was acting on these human beings and they were committing suicide. Let's say it was X. Then in order to confirm, he started looking at the official data of statistics or any kind of reports which had reports of suicides. Okay. Then he observed that there was a pattern which was there. So what was the pattern? He observed that sometimes whenever there was the integration in the society was very less, or it was very high, very low or very high, in extreme situations, as well as when the society was regulated, that means it was controlled. Either it was uncontrollable, there were no controls, no norms, no values to control the society, and in extreme situation when there was too much of control. In these four situations the suicides were happening. So 1, 2, 3, 4 he observed that there were 4 kinds of suicides which were happening, and he could place every suicide which was happening in society in these 4 categories. So any suicide in society will fall under any of these 4 types. Now while applying it as under the positivist method, we see that according to Durkheim, the social facts or suicide can be observed. We see people dying, we see people committing suicide, and it is the same for all observers. That means these 4 types, 1, 2, 3, 4, according to Durkheim, only these 4 types of suicides exist in society, and in every situation, even if I observe or even if you observe, in any situation you will find that these 4 kinds of suicide exist. No 5th suicide is there, no 6th suicide is there. Thus Durkheim said that social facts were external and they could be studied under positivism. Just like the application of scientific method, similarly these 4 types, they were like signs, they were universal and they were factual too. Okay, why factual? Because they could be observed, they were same for all observers, and they were same in every situation. Okay, for example, if the integration was very less, then there would be one kind of suicide. If the integration was very high, then there would be one kind of situation. Then if the regulation was very low, one kind of situation. If the regulation was very high, one kind of situation. This type will not change. This is a given, that this is how things are going to be. This is what Durkheim said. So, to conclude, positivists, we have that they study social facts, they believe in objectivity, that means no value, no prejudices, and the sociologist is detached from what he is observing. They follow a deductive approach, cause effect, quantitative methods, statistics, sampling, questionnaire, interviews, surveys, and they believe that there is a difference between a strict separation between fact and value. That means fact and value can be separated. But they were opposed by the non-positivists, who said that society or social phenomena consists of value, meaning, subjectivity, that means it differs, and the sociologist has inherent biases, prejudices, hence it will affect the social research. They followed another method which we are going to study in the next doubt session, inductive method, and they followed the research methods of which were known as qualitative, okay, not quantitative, and they believed that fact and value cannot be separated completely. They have a certain overlapping, fact and value. So in today's session you have to remember these things and you have to commit them to memory, commit them to understanding. Do not worry about this portion because this portion will be studied in the next class, that is tomorrow. So for today you only have to revise positivism, and you have to, if possible, please go through Nitin Sangwan chapter 2, but you just glance through it. You don't have to try to understand each and every word, but you will have to understand this particular doubt session. Today's focus is on understanding, no target. Please don't worry about notes, compilations, completion of syllabus. All these things distract you from your goal of understanding. So please focus on understanding. All the best. Thank you.